Hi all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Ronkat and I love to talk about travel, career, and general living tips. If that sounds like your sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to my channel. In today's video, I'm talking about travel insurance. So travel insurance is typically used to either offset or cover any personal liability if you can no longer travel, if you have any valuables that are stolen or misplaced while you travel, or if you have some sort of medical or legal emergency while you're traveling. Once again, it is really for while you are traveling, meaning out of your immediate area. Travel insurance is one of those things that I think a lot of us know about, kind of, like we peripherally know about it, but most of us probably have never used it or have never really considered using it. Now, when it comes to travel insurance, it is definitely a very personal thing, so by no means do you have to use travel insurance, but there are some instances where travel insurance can be helpful. Additionally, sometimes travel insurance can seem a little confusing in terms of how you go about getting it, but there are a lot of ways to get travel insurance. One way that you actually can get travel insurance is through certain credit cards. So there are certain cards out there that automatically will provide insurance for you, auto insurance. They also might provide emergency services if you need to be evacuated. They may cover a certain portion of your flight if anything happens. They may be able to also reimburse you for any lost luggage, all those different things. So credit cards is definitely one way to be able to get it. And of course, read through your benefits to figure out if this is one of the benefits of any card that you might have. Another option is to get it through a travel agency or agent or travel site when you're booking. And they often will they might have their own package or something of that nature. And then the final option is to get it through an actual travel insurance provider. And so depending on the specific type of travel insurance that you're looking for, you'll probably be able to find a couple of providers. Now, when it comes to travel insurance, like I said, I'm sure a lot of people probably don't buy travel insurance all the time because you might not feel like there's a huge need, right? But there are definitely situations where I would consider getting travel insurance. Now, for me, I personally don't typically buy travel insurance, and part of the reason why is because, as I mentioned, with certain credit cards, you do get some of those things already kind of outright covered as a benefit to the card. And so for me, I feel that some of what I feel that I really may need is already covered through my card. And even if it isn't, I kind of don't mind a one-off payment for it if it's truly an emergency. And even aside from the credit card aspect, let's say that you are trying to get travel insurance maybe because you're booking a trip and you don't know if you're gonna actually make that trip. From the airline and hotel perspective, if you actually have status, you might receive a little bit more flexibility than, a regular individual that's booking. And so you might not necessarily need travel insurance in that sort of a situation. So even outside of credit cards and airline or hotel status, you also want to consider what your actual domestic policies are like. So if you have health insurance, you might have some health insurance providers that also will cover a certain portion if you're traveling outside of your immediate service area, or even if you're traveling outside of the country. So it is important to make sure that you are very familiar with all the protections that are provided through your health insurance, even through your home and auto insurance. Now, let's say that you decide that you do want to get travel insurance. I would really, really recommend, especially with travel insurance, that you make sure that you read the fine print. Depending on what the service is for, who is providing it, et cetera, the fine print is going to differ, and you have to read the fine print. Reading the fine print is important because you want to make sure that you have an understanding of exactly what is covered and under what grounds it is covered. And then if you do have to file a claim, you also want to make sure that you understand what the requirements are in order to be able to receive some sort of reimbursement or coverage for that claim. So if you are getting travel insurance, let's say for an auto policy, and something happens with your car abroad, but it's outside of the scope of what you got the travel insurance for, you're still going to pay for it. Travel insurance is not going to cover it. So it's really, really important to try to make sure that you're either getting the specific sort of coverage that you know for a fact you need, or that you're getting coverage that's comprehensive enough to cover a wide variety of things. When it comes to the process of putting in claims for travel insurance, you do actually have to, at least in my experiences, you do have to submit documentation. And so you want to make sure that you have an understanding of what the requirements are ahead of time, so that if you do find yourself in a position where you're trying to put forth a claim, you know the right sort of documentation that you need. Finally, I would recommend that if you're thinking about getting travel insurance, you should probably purchase it as soon as you think you'll need it. Now, some organizations may offer a flat rate with travel insurance, but on the off chance that they don't, you really want to make sure that you're buying it as soon as you realize that you'll need it. That way you're hopefully able to get the best deals possible. Now, as I've said, travel insurance is not something that I get all the time, strictly because certain protections that I may need or I may want are already covered with my credit card. Or like I said, sometimes I'm just being reckless and I'll just work it out on my own. But it is important that if you have something very, very big coming up travel-wise that you've put a lot of money into, you might want to really consider if you should get travel insurance or not, because you ultimately want to make sure that you're protecting yourself financially. As always, please make sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel for more travel, career, and general living content. See you next time.